So here's what happened. I got on a plane and I went to the UK for the Just Move tour. Visited a whole bunch of gaming stores along the way to combine movement with miniatures. But I figured, since I was in the UK, why not take a side quest and visit one of my good friends who have never actually had a chance to visit. Enter Louise. Hands down, the best thing about the wargaming community is making friendships over the tabletop, is meeting new people, and forming bonds and doing collaborations and having fun. That meant the most to me. So doing this with Louise and seeing her studio, seeing her setup, how she gets inspired to make the content she makes and the miniatures that she makes as well. But when I first arrived at her studio, she wasn't there. Rob was there, which I'm grateful for because he showed me around the studio. I got to see the different cameras that they use for their setup, for their Jugs podcast. I got to see the tables and behind that they use for tournaments which they host, which I didn't know before. And I got to see where the magic happens, which was this sliver of a room where they both work side by side in filming and editing their content. Rob told me that Louise was out shopping for something, so she'd be back soon. And that's when the truck arrived.
Hey, Morgan. Morgan's my gym buddy.
Hey, Morgan.
This is Dave. Dave Morgan. Chris, Dave, Chris.
There's a studio that exists down below where Rob and Louise are, and their shipment arrived for their crowdfunded campaign for this RPG game.
So they made an RPG called Doomsong. Doomsong is the rule set, and then there's a campaign.
And so since Louise wasn't there yet, and because Rob jumped in to help, I figured, why not help too?
This is just moving boxes from there to there.
We are just moving, right? It's all an excuse to move. And so here we are, assembly line style, moving these boxes, getting nice and efficient with it. And that's when Louise arrives.
Whoa. So what's new, Louise?
Not much, honestly. Moving boxes, living life.
Like, we're legit moving. Like, this is so good.
No, this is great.
This is great. Oh yeah, this is great. You planned this already. Thank you.
It's all about the movement.
Moving, yes. Lots
I
of.
think we just sit around.
Yes.
Absolutely not.
I mean, clearly that's what I'm seeing. You just sit around. Yeah.
She got right in there, was moving boxes too.
This is Doomsong. It's made by the guys that also work in our building. Very spooky tabletop RPG. Guaranteed every single one touched by Dave.
But that's when, once again, she was pulled away because she had a pre-scheduled call.
Oh shoot, what time is it? I've got a meeting at 1.
Let's face it, this was an ad hoc visit that wasn't scheduled months ahead of time. This was like, as I was here in the UK anyway, let's do something in the 2 hours that we have to do it. And after we finished that first pallet of boxes and we felt so accomplished, we looked into the truck and realized there was another 5 pallets of product. Oh yeah, you better believe it. It was a full body workout. And after we moved all the boxes in, we felt very satisfied with the hard work we'd accomplished as a team. This is when I was pulled aside, very symbolically, off the beaten path. This was one of the team members who said, hey Dave, take a look at my miniatures. Not gonna lie, he completely lured me in. It's kind of what does it for me. Now normally, Ultramarines don't do it for me, but when you have a painted McFarlane Terminator with some added Etsy bits, that looks cool. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna look at it. Or when you have a Nurglified orc.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what a Nurgle orc looks like.
With, what's that now? What's that?
He's also got a demon coming out of his bum.
Visual first, then story, and then we're hooked. Chicken, raptor, orc, flyer, spider. Combine all those into a mini, and yes, I'm gonna wanna look at it. I got so lost in this dude's hobby cupboard, and I'm glad that he invited me there, because what does that mean to me when people show me their miniatures? Well, it actually means the world to me. They are showing me something very close and near and dear to their hearts, outside of the regular world. I was in another universe when I was in this man's, I want to keep on calling it a hobby hole, but that just doesn't sound right. Inside this man's brain. So after realizing a good 25 minutes had passed, I thought to myself, ooh, I better go upstairs so that I can actually spend some time with Louise and maybe jump inside her brain. So I walk upstairs, and do I not run into Peachy?
I have got a cup of tea.
Yes.
You know me.
I know you.
This is where he offers me the tea and critiques the Just Move Mini.
I mean, it's everything I expected it to be about you. I mean, you've got like pumping iron, you've got the chain axe, feels like a world eater.
Yeah.
I mean, the base says everything skulls.
Had to be skulls.
It's got to be skulls and spikes and
Yes.
like magma stones. I mean, if this accidentally got left behind and accidentally on my painting desk, wouldn't that just be a tragedy? Right?
A horrendous tragedy.
That would be so bad.
Unforgivable.
Unforgivable. Especially when I cut the head off and stick my face in it.
Oh, please do.
By the way, you fast forward a few hours, Peachy comes to Boards and Swords, and he does some push-ups with the push-up challenge. With a rucksack on his back, which is a backpack for us in North America.
The question is, how much does this weigh?
It's not that much.
That feels heavy.
It's quite heavy.
That's quite heavy.
Anyway, getting sidetracked again. I love this man. Just look at those eyes. You're gonna fall in love immediately. I don't care who you are.
Oh, well, you touched my head for good luck. Touched it for good luck.
With only a few minutes left before we start recording the Jugs podcast, which they had me as a guest for, I'm super flattered by once again. Thank you for that. We had a minute to actually go inside Louise's studio and to examine what's on her mind.
Oh, I just got a really good transition. I was like, wow, Dave, what are you doing here?
Thing behind the scenes here and like looking at these things, which I see online.
Do you want to see? Come on.
That's a word that comes to mind when I see Louise's shelf. Vibrant.
Okay,
The things
so Dave, I don't know if you know this, but I also have my own miniature company now, surprise.
Yes, I have seen it. Yeah.
Remember when a year ago and I didn't have that? Well, here we are. And these are the rascals.
Vomit of colors.
And they are various little goblins and gnomes.
That's what it is, man. Okay? Calling a spade a spade. There's a lot of puke in her office, and I enjoyed it.
And then our friend Tom, he sculpts them. And then I paint them. And then Rob makes them. And then we sell them.
That's what I like looking at, because I was just looking at a Nurgle model, let's face it, I was thinking Nurgle. So I saw pustules of goblins, and I saw poxes of conversions. But ultimately, what I felt was hobby passion.
And he's a night goblin, fishing goblin, and of course the pirate goblin.
Is he your favorite?
I don't know which one's my favorite,
Yeah.
honestly. I think he has to be my favorite. Look at all the little squirrels we put on him.
Passionate, that's another word to describe Louise. It was awesome. She was just so excited to show me her miniatures.
This is the most popular one. It's the first one.
He's the OG.
The OG,
Yeah,
yes,
he's
of course.
the most iconic one, I think. I'll
What?
say.
Why the fish? What's going on there?
I don't know. I drew it when I was playing D&D like 3 years ago.
Once again, it's the volcano at the science fair. Look at the science project. Look at my painted minis. And here we are, inside Louise's brain. Let's face it, that's what it is.
And then there's that, of course, I've seen this.
Oh yeah. Well, this is just everything.
This is
in
the
the world.
this is the shelf.
This is the shelf of all my junk.
This is
It's a good shelf.
yeah, this is all the things.
All the things.
I don't care who you are. You look at anyone's hobby workshop area. That's inside their brain.
Yeah.
How long are you staying for?
Like here, it's a couple hours. Yeah, I know. I wish we had more time.
So sad.
Wish we had more time.
This is all the brain. It's a very personal thing. I was honored to be there, and I appreciated that. And I was inspired, but not by the things that I was seeing. I was inspired by what she said during the podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of Jugs, because it's just us three. Normally, like it usually. What?
Whoa! Hi!
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers!
Dave.
Yes.
Dave's here.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for coming on our Jugs.
Thanks for coming on our Jug.
On the Jugs podcast, they have a tradition. Each person, one by one, tells about their week and the projects that they're working on. And Rob graciously asked me, oh, what have you been working on, Dave? What's new with you?
Dave, welcome.
Thank you.
How you feeling?
I feel good.
And I had a chance to share the Just Move tour and the miniature and the reason why I was in the UK in the first place. But when we got to Louise, she talked about something I was not expecting.
I've discovered something that I love, and I just want to share it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to like grab people by the shoulders and like shake them and be like, no, you really need to try this.
Mm-hmm.
She described the creative process of filming content, but in this case, she was working on something new, and that was Gundam.
You into Gundam yet?
I am tempted, but it does visually remind me of Tau, so it's like
Is that a problem?
You said problem, I didn't disagree. So
Is that...
And it's not just me.
I don't know. I don't like Tau necessarily.
Right,
but
right.
But I really like Gundam.
but you like Gundam.
But this is what she had to say about that.
Because I love painting, and it's just like me like sitting there, unpacking my brain whilst doing something that rewards me at the end. And I love that. And it's just like another way of doing that.
I couldn't help but be interested, not because I was interested in Gundam per se, but because I felt of her curiosity, her excitement, and her passion for it.
Yeah, I'm really into it. Oh, actually, I'm doing the Gundam Builders World Cup. What? You can just paint them like Warhammer, but they're 10 times cheaper.
Really?
Yeah, that cost me £16.
I had a feeling the day would come that I would be interested in Gundam, look at Gundam and want to see it. And she was inadvertently selling me on the idea of Gundam. And one of the things that did it for me was the fact that it snap fit right off of the sprue. It's a big feature, especially the people who haven't assembled miniatures before. That could be a barrier to entry. In fact, it is in many cases. Oop, I don't know how to do that. That's too complicated. Overwhelm, no thanks, that's your thing. And talk about the stars aligning. This video is sponsored by Wayland, right? When I think of Wayland, I think of miniature tabletop war games. But it is also true to say Gundam in Wayland because they also carry Gundam. In fact, Gundam itself, way bigger than miniature tabletop war games. When you look at it holistically, again, I knew this would happen. I knew the day would come where it would just become a part of the awareness and I would be curious about it and I'd want to know more about it. And Wayland is making it too easy now for me to get into it. Now it's just a matter of, okay, I'm gonna look and see what they have and see what I visually want. And I'm gonna order stuff. See, that's how the plastic crack works. It just, you know what? But we don't demonize this thing. We accept it about ourselves. We're gonna get into. In fact, you know what? Here's a question for you. Are you into Gundam? You probably. That's a good percentage of you are, since Gundam's in this video and it's coming up in your feed. What would you say you like about Gundam? But really, the most important question I have is, tell me what's cool, because the rule of cool wins.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, literally 16
I know, that's shocking.
You can find me on my channel on YouTube, which is called Rogue Hobbies, which is here.
I now invite you to get out there, to spend some time with a friend, call someone, message someone, see how they're doing, see if they're available. Make some space in your busy schedule to spend time with people outside of your regular routine. You know, studies show that those who have meaningful relationships well into their lives actually live longer and they're healthier people. I'm just gonna perpetuate that message out into the ether. That's why I went out of my regular routine and went on the Just Move tour. And along the way, visited some friends and made some new ones. All comes around full circle. I'm Mini Wargamer Dave, and I invite you to just move.